Hear our call, arts for all. Hear our call, arts for all. Hear our call, arts for all. Fabulous, let's do this. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kimberly Olson, and I'm proud to be the Executive Director of the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. We are a grassroots service organization working to improve and advance arts ed across the city, working to protect arts ed in partnership with educators and cultural partners, artists from across the 5 boroughs. We are incredibly proud to be gathered alongside so many incredible students, passionate cultural leaders, and educators who are working to expand arts education to every student in every school. So behind us, the council is set to hold an oversight hearing in just a few moments about how to improve equity and access to arts education for all students. The council, the council's been a huge ally in this fight, and we are proud to work alongside lawmakers last year to protect $41 million in expiring COVID-era funding for arts ed that will go to expanding access for all New Yorkers. This is a great start, but it will help New York City's mighty arts education sector continue. Actually, take a step back. It will help us sustain New York City's mighty but fragile arts ecosystem, but we're still not there yet. Right now, hundreds of schools still lack a certified arts teacher, and thousands of children across the city don't get the arts education they deserve. And because of outdated reporting requirements and a lack of transparency in the city data, we don't actually know where these students are, which means we don't know who we need to reach the most. What we do know is that students who rely on public support for the arts are usually concentrated in schools that serve our most racially diverse, our lower income, and our immigrant communities. And with the Trump administration promising to gut funding for organizations who work to expand access for students in these same communities, we're at risk of even more New York City students failing to get the well-rounded arts ed they deserve. Expanding funding for the arts is critical, but we simply can't provide arts education to every student if we don't know where the needs are. So today, we're urging the council to do more to improve transparency and data collection about arts in our schools so that we can equitably provide resources and ensure that every student gets access. New York City's arts ecosystem is the greatest in the world, and so many of our amazing artists and creative citizens owe their success to the foundation of that public schools laid to them. For our 1 million public school students across the city, arts education means academic success, improved mental health, critical thinking, increased parent engagement, supporting workforce development so that students are prepared to enter a 21st century workforce. So we thank the council for taking on this important issue to improve our understanding of arts in schools, and we urge them to continue to expand arts opportunities for every student because it starts with arts. Fabulous. So we're thrilled today to be joined by educators, students, artists who are going to talk about the importance of supporting arts access for every student, and to doing more to where we can understand the support is needed most. With that, we're first going to hear from some of our friends in government. I'm going to turn it over to the chair of the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations, Councilmember Carlina Rivera.
All right. Well, good morning. How we feel today? I feel good, exactly. Thank you for saying that. We're here to fight. We're here to fight for every student, every teaching artist, every New Yorker who knows that in the culture capital of the world, New York City, arts is fundamental to our well-being, to our mental health, and to the whole child, as they say in the Department of Education, because we know the outcomes that art leads to. Arts and culture leads to better outcomes for our students. Better in math, better in science, better in all of these categories. And it also teaches us humanity and kindness and appreciation and really an introduction to the world and experiences that we can only hope to have in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And I say this quite a bit now, but I can't help myself. Now that I have two very small children, the first thing that they want to do in life, they're only 2 and 1 years old. They want to color, they want to sing, they want to dance, they want to quieren tocar. You know, they want to play the guitar, the congas, whatever is around. They want to bang 2 pots and pans together, and they want to make music. And so we're here today to make sure that every child in New York City deserves the same opportunity to experience the transformative power of the arts. And it's all about equity. We are going to be asking for more transparency, more accountability from the mayor's office, the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Department of Education, because we know that the data is really going to say a lot of what we understand, which is that historically underserved communities, specifically in Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, are not receiving their fair share. And from 2020 to 2023, New York City Public Schools lost 425 full-time certified arts teachers. So we have a challenging path ahead to make sure that every school has an arts teacher. That's the goal. But today, 1 in 5 New York City public schools lack a certified arts teacher. And we know that it enhances academic outcome, fosters creativity, builds those socio-emotional skills that students need to thrive in school, work, and life. So we're going to go in there. We're going to ensure that we're asking about programs that we know works, right? We know that CDF funding and grants is instrumental, but we need to expand it. We need to ensure that there's equity. We need to make sure that the Arts Partnership Grant Program, CASA, Su Casa, all of these things are supported and expanded, and we're going to keep pushing for accurate data, that transparency in reporting that demonstrates students' access and participation. That is going to be critical. So to everyone here, I just want to say thank you. You all deserve a living wage. You all deserve to know that we appreciate the creative economy and the workers that have made this the culture capital of the world. And thank you for sustaining our city and our families. Arts for all.
Arts for all! Arts for all! Fabulous! Thank you so much, Councilmember Rivera. We're now going to turn it over to another champion within the City Council, our chair on the Committee of Education, Councilmember Rita Joseph.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to the Arts Education Roundtable for your continued leadership, advocacy, your tireless effort on behalf of New York City students in making a real difference. And I am so proud to stand here with you, my 2 colleagues here today, and we're going to create some good trouble, right, Councilmember? As a forever educator and as the chair of the City Council on Education Committee, I've seen up close what happened when we invest in the arts. Arts education gives our students the chance to think creatively, explore new perspectives, express themselves in powerful, transformative ways. This is where many students discover their passion and sometimes even their purpose. I've seen what happens when art programs are funded, underfunded, or cut entirely. Students lose opportunities to grow, to connect, and to find joy, especially in these moments. Woo! That's not the kind of education system we should be building in the greatest city in the world. That's why I'm so proud that this City Council has been leading the charge in investing in arts education. We fought for funding, we've pushed for access, and we've insisted that arts are not optional, they are essential. And I want to be clear, we will continue to do so because every child in New York City deserves a well-rounded education, one that includes music, dance, theater, visual arts, and more. This is especially important as we work to recover from the impacts of the pandemic. Our young people have experienced so much disruption and loss. The arts can play a powerful role in healing, and I know that, and rebuilding. not just academically, but emotionally and socially. They give our students space to process their experience, to find their voice, and to reconnect with one another. So whether it's advocating for more art teachers, ensuring schools have the resources to support strong arts programming, or creating partnerships with community-based organizations, we are committed to keeping the arts front and center in our education system. And we know we cannot do this alone. We need strong partners. And that's where Arts Education Roundtable come in. Thank you for always being at the table, for lifting the voices of educators and students, and for keeping art equity at the heart of the movement. Together, we're building a stronger, more creative, and more just New York City. And I can't wait to see the next generation of artists, thinkers, and leaders that will come from this important work. And thank you. And know you have an ally, you have a champion. Arts for all! Arts for all! Arts for all! Arts for all!
Thank you so much, Councilmember Joseph. We're now going to turn it over to another champion in the council, Councilmember Dinowitz, to speak on the value of arts education.
We're practicing.
Oh, practicing. All right. Ready for your spotlight moment.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, and I stand here proudly as the only council member to teach two of my colleagues how to play the kazoo. You see why we need investment in art education? You're happier already. It is, as Councilmember Rivera said, transformative. I have transformed their lives, and for that I say you're welcome. But I also want to say thank you to the arts, because it is transformative. You know, just a couple years ago, I was a small, shy, timid 9-year-old boy. And now I'm a small, shy, timid, old council member. And I was walking around like this, wouldn't talk to anyone. And then the arts came along, and I was thrust up on stage with friends, and I got in front of my peers in my community. And after that, I'd say I got a little more comfortable being in front of crowds and cameras. It transformed my life, and I could say without the arts, without that push, without that community, I would not be a council member getting up in front of a bunch of strangers talking about my experiences and the things that I feel about the arts. And you know, it's not just me. I was a public school teacher, and I taught in a music high school. And I didn't teach music, but I saw every day, year after year, the transformative power of music. Some students who came to school, same as me, timid and shy, came to school not knowing a ton about math or science, but knew that when they got up there and played their instruments, or when they expressed themselves through the arts or through dance, they became their best selves. And they came for the art, and they stayed for the math. They came for the music, and they stayed for the science. And that's what we want for our children. We want them to be their best selves, and the arts can bring them there. And I know we say arts education as if it's different than education, but it's not. Arts education is education. I mean, I'm going to nerd out a little bit, but how do you meaningfully teach a history class about like the Romantic period without talking about great literature like Frankenstein and great works of music like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony and Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique? I heard the musician saying, yeah, and the painter saying, what? I would name painters, but I don't know any. But it's all intertwined. The best mathematicians, the people who understand sinusoidal waves, the best scientists who understand physics and resonant frequencies are gonna be our musicians. Thank you, musicians behind me. And apologies to everyone else. The point is, they're all intertwined. People who understand music and art, they're gonna understand history. They're gonna understand literature and be better at it. And in just one beautiful example I want to share, just a few short months ago, we in City Hall hosted an 80th anniversary commemoration of the liberation from Auschwitz. And who did we have perform at City Hall? We didn't have kids come up and show test scores or their essays about Auschwitz and the Holocaust. We had 5 students perform an original piece arranged and composed by these students based off of Elie Wiesel's Night. They took a piece of literature and deeply understood the text and the emotion and the historical context behind that text, but expressed it through music. That interdisciplinary work is something that only the arts can provide, and is what we are supportive of here at City Hall. And so we are here today. We're going to go in that hearing, do everything the council member chair, Carlina Rivera, said, have oversight over our agencies, and ensure that our arts get the support and the funding they deserve, they get the support our children deserve, so they could be their best selves and succeed everywhere, academically and beyond. Thank you to all of you for coming.
Arts for all! Arts for all! Fabulous. Thank you so much, Councilmember Dinowitz. Now to talk, now to speak also, it is imperative that we have that funding, but it is imperative that we have the transparency to know where those funds are best utilized. Speak on the value of that transparency. It's my great pleasure to introduce another fabulous arts education champion, Councilmember Keith Powers.
Thank you. How can I follow up with Eric Dinowitz? It is just too tough. Look, it is amazing to be out here with my colleague, Councilmember Rivera, Councilmember Dinowitz. I want to give them a shout out because since this fight started to increase arts funding in every single school, to make sure every single school has an arts program, a certified arts teacher, as we began this fight, they've been with us the whole way. Let's give them a big round of applause. Look, it seems basic, and when you explain it to New Yorkers, they don't understand why we're out here talking about this. It feels basic and fundamental that every single school student in New York City would have access to a good arts program, a good music program, that in the school building, they would get their science and their math, but they would get their arts, their music, their theater. That feels pretty fundamental, right? And yet, then I have to explain to them that that's not exactly where we are. But even worse at times, when we hear about budget cuts and the education department getting cut, and then we hear from I'm with you on that. And then we hear from our principals, and the first thing that they're looking at to cut is the arts program or the music teacher. We know that we have to continuously do this work, and that we have to stand out here, even though it feels so fundamental and basic. Because when those cuts come down, and we don't want them, but when they do get threatened, it is the first thing they look at. It's the arts programs, the music teachers, because they don't feel embedded in the school right now. They don't feel guaranteed. And certainly we have not provided them enough funding to make sure that they stand up even when there's threats to other cuts all around the budget. So that's why we're out here today, because for the last few years, the city council has been fighting this fight to guarantee that there are arts programs, certified arts teachers, after school programs, and comprehensive arts in every single school in New York City. And thank you to the Arts Roundtable. We have been out here constantly making sure that in the council's budget response that came out last week, that we had a guarantee for arts education in that. That when we get to the budget and we have to make those hard decisions, every year now we're increasing support that the council provides to schools to make sure those programs that don't have enough arts education get it. We've been doing that for the last few years as well. But now this is the test. The test is, can we make a guarantee? Can we make a guarantee to every kid that walks into that school building that no matter what happens, no matter what happens to the economy, thank you, Donald Trump, whatever happens from the budget cuts or whatever may come, that you can walk in that school building and just like the math program, just like the science program, that arts program, that music program will be there for you. And I think that's a pretty good damn guarantee. So we are going to be fighting this year to make sure our cultural institutions get the funding they deserve, right? We are going to make sure we show up at budget hearings and we make sure that we fight for arts education in the school building, right? And we are going to make sure that New York City remains the arts capital of the entire world. Is that right? So look, thank you for everyone for being out here. I know you're taking time off from other things to be out here with us. And sometimes we wish you didn't have to do this, but you're in the right place. And I promise you that. So thank you everyone for being with us today. It starts with the arts.
The arts! It starts with the arts! Starts with the arts! Thank you so much, Councilmember Powers. All right, we're now going to hear from some friends in the field. Our first speaker is actually going to be a teacher that right after this has to go all the way out far into Queens to go teach dance. So it is my pleasure to bring up Katie Palmer, a teaching artist and executive director of Together in Dance. Welcome, Katie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Katie Palmer. I've been a dance and theater teaching artist in New York City for 13 years and the executive director of Together in Dance since 2020. Together in Dance's mission is through dance and musical theater to empower individuals to use their creativity and work collaboratively to connect to the world around them. We prioritize using trauma-aware approach in our arts work through centering relationships, creativity, and collaboration. Together in Dance aims to disrupt cycles that perpetuate trauma and facilitate in our participants more adaptive abilities of problem solving, encouraging them to rely on trust, curiosity, and compassion. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak today on how the red tape and bureaucracy of New York City is denying thousands of students the arts education that can help them cultivate the resiliency, belonging, and confidence that they need. Together in Dance, like many of my peer organizations, was caught in a contract extension spiral of doom. They know. Our programming was completely halted for 5 months due to a small technical process that is completely opaque with no timeline communicated. With that massive delay happening, Together in Dance teaching artists were denied thousands of dollars of expected income, and most devastatingly, 2,000 students were not able to have life-affirming access to the arts. Together in Dance has even lost partnerships due to the lack of transparency around funding. PS 242 in Flushing, Queens has been a partner of Together in Dance for 8 years. Every year, we served all 285 students pre-K through 3rd grade as their only dance education during their elementary school careers. This year, PS 242 did not receive the grant that they rely on every year for this funding. There was no explanation as to why this funding was denied. Transparency in how New York City allocates resources is critical to Together in Dance's success. The students of Together in Dance, but specifically the students of all of New York City, deserve transparency in the Department of Education's budget and how arts education money is spent. I am thankful to the City Council for conducting this hearing today, and hopefully we will start to get some answers. Our students' future and the future of New York City depends on it. Thank you so much.
Arts for all! Arts for all! Thank you so much, Katie. That is exactly why we're here advocating today. We need transparency. You and your artists that are working should not go 5 months without that necessary income to be able to provide, as I rightly agree, are life-saving opportunities. Yes. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to some of our students that are here today to speak a little bit more about why we are here advocating, why it is important that our students have these opportunities. First, we're going to toss it over to Franny, who is not only a youth producer, but also at Education Video Center, but a New York City public school student. Welcome, Franny.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Francesca Thomas, but I prefer to be called Franny. Thank you. I am a youth producer at Educational Video Center, but it's short for EVC as we call it. I am currently a student at Lower East Side Prep, a senior actually, and I am from East Harlem, born and raised. I have been in New York all my life. I am a proud daughter of two immigrant parents from Honduras. And immigrants deserve to be heard and share their stories and not be judged for the color of their skin. My journey at EVC has been a long one. I've been in EVC Youth Documentary Workshop Program for 2 years now, and I have made 7 documentaries about stories that me and my peers want to tell from our perspectives. All these documentaries I did with a group of students from diverse backgrounds, and I really like working together with them. We learn a lot from each other. EVC is a safe space where students can be themselves and we work together as equals in our classroom. I've learned and grown a lot at EVC over the last 2 years. I really like interviewing, doing research, using the green screen, and editing on Adobe. I like helping my peers who are just learning to edit too. And then I mentioned I like making new friends. I am currently making my final documentary this semester on the housing crisis in New York City before going off to college. I am proud to share that I pitched this topic to my group and students voted on it. A film that I made with other students last year called The Grass Isn't Always Greener about workplace exploitations of migrants was selected to the Haitian Dominican Film Festival and I got to attend. It was the first film festival I have ever been to, and our film was the only one made by high school students. I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect from people watching the film, but they loved it, and we won an award. At the festival, I realized how much EVC has changed my life and how much work me and the group put into this documentary. It was a special moment I won't ever forget. Um, by the fall, I will be attending City College and will be studying film production. If I didn't have access to EVC's program, I wouldn't know what to do in the future. I would be stuck for the rest of my life trying to figure things out. Um, I am speaking out today because I want to make sure all students across New York also get access to life-changing art programs like I did. This will make our city a better place. I think the city council should fund organizations like EVC and many more art organizations because they bring diverse students together to just create. They help build young people's confidence inside and out and help make art about social issues in New York City and the rest of the world as well. If funding is cut for arts education across all schools, it would be very sad because art is a way for students to express themselves and also to for learn skills for future jobs. Also, EVC stands on business all the time. Through making films, EVC has helped me and other youth to speak out, standing on what we believe in and fight for our powers and rights and not letting others tear us down. We all have a story to share. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Franny. Going to college in the fall for film production. That is exactly why we're here advocating, so that we can make sure that there's transparency in how this funding is going out to be able to support incredible students like Franny, so that they are able to pursue their dreams and be going on to support our broader city. So with that, we're going to hear from 2 more students. It's my pleasure to bring up Claire and Miriam, New York City Public School students, and Midori and Friends Next Gen Student Advocates.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Claire Cho. I am a high school senior, and also I am a part of Midori's Next Gen program. And I'm so honored to be here today to share a little bit of my story. I moved to New York City 3 years ago from Georgia to pursue my musical dreams in violin and in conducting. And music education has definitely been the catalyst of my development. At the Juilliard Pre-College and the New York Youth Symphonies, I have met amazing mentors who taught me invaluable music lessons, but also life lessons. They have inspired me through their work ethic and that the way that they love music and treat others to live passionately in life. Through music, I've also met my best friends, a community of diverse people from different backgrounds and levels of expertise who share my love for music. All in all, my arts education in New York has shaped who I am today. It has encouraged problem solving, discipline, collaboration, but I also discovered more about myself and what I value and what I love. I wish every student could experience these things.
Yes.
So when we invest in arts education, we invest in confident, expressive, and empathetic young minds who will shape our world in ways that we cannot imagine. So let us continue to advocate for the arts education and ensure that every student's life is enriched by music, as was mine. Thank you.
Arts for all.
Arts for all! Arts for all! Arts!
Hello there, my name is Miriam and I'm a bassist. That's how I almost always introduce myself now. I'm a high school senior currently participating in the Midori and Friends 2025 Next Gen program, and I'm honored to be here today at the It Starts With the Arts campaign. Sometime in the past few years, I no longer was just somebody who just plays bass guitar, but a bassist. It's become a part of who I am, and I most certainly would have never become half the person I am today if it weren't for music. Specifically, I would have never become who I am today if it weren't for music education. Music class changed my life. Before, there was no way I would have ever asked to speak in front of a crowd like this. I was, and still am, very shy and kept to myself. But music has a way of uncovering our true selves. Music moves our souls, and shows us parts of ourselves that we didn't even know existed. For me, it helped me find my voice and express myself through the strings of the bass. For others, it has helped to do so much more with their lives. When I'm playing music with others, we speak in a language that only musicians can understand, and it is a wonderful language. We speak through reality, pain, and even school is on that list, which is why I want to help others learn this musical language. I'm lucky to have an amazing music teacher, Mr. Anderson, who has always believed in me and my classmates. Throughout rough times in school, he helps us express our emotions and gives us space to be ourselves and be loud and take space in the world for our own selves. But again, I'm lucky. Many people don't have that. Many people don't even have music class or any art class in their school. To quote John Keating in the Dead Poets Society, we don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. I'd like to generalize this a little bit. We don't make art because it's cute. We make art because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Imagine all the kids who could have grown up to be the next Bowie or Da Vinci, but never had the chance to find their passion. We need education in the arts. We need our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miriam. You should not be lucky to have that in your school. Acknowledging that so many students don't have access to it. That is why we're here today, so that we can understand who has access to the arts, who does not, so that we can build towards it. With that, it's my pleasure to bring up a fabulous arts education leader within our field, Rachel Watts.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rachel.
It's a beautiful day. I'm from Arts Connection, and Arts Connection has been providing arts programs in New York City, all 5 boroughs of this beautiful city, for 46 years. I've been part of Arts Connection for 27 years. And for 27 years, I thought people didn't value the arts. That's why it gets cut. And in schools, I thought they couldn't see how the arts help young people and their lives. Help them learn to think like problem solving, think critically, learn to work as part of a team, build skills, develop their own ideas, empathize with the perspectives of others. Arts Connection exists today because of budget cuts in the school system that removed the arts teachers. That's a repeating pattern. When faced with challenges, the arts get cut. In the US, only 29 states require the arts as a core subject in school. Guess what? New York is not one of them. Because of that, in New York City, there are 379 schools that do not have a certified arts teacher. That is one in 5 schools. Think of that. In New York City, thousands of young people aren't getting the arts in the same way as the young people that were just here speaking. Thousands. I realized recently in all these years advocating for the arts, it's not that they don't value the arts, it's the opposite. They understand so well. They want to make sure young people don't know and learn how to think for themselves. They want to make sure that young people don't know how to problem solve. They want to make sure that young people don't understand the perspectives of people who are different from them, from other people. They don't want young people to learn how to think critically and independently. Across the nation, the arts are under attack yet again, and at an alarming magnitude this time. Let's start today by ensuring all of our students have access to quality arts education.
Yes.
Today, we tell the city, restore and increase baseline funding to Department of Cultural Affairs. Arts Connection is one of many organizations that have seen a cut, and for us, it's been 66% over the last 5 years that we have lost money. Today, we say restore and increase support for the Arts Instruction Initiative.
Yes.
We are one of many organizations that without that funding, there would be schools that wouldn't have the arts. We have been able to go out to many schools because of this funding. It needs to be restored and increased. Every school should have a certified arts teacher. Basic. Require that the way the arts is spent in the DOE is spent on the arts.
Yes.
And that we know there's transparency in how that data is shared. Young people represent our future. And what we do now impacts the city's future.
Yes.
It's a beacon of light for New York State, and the country. Prioritizing investment in the arts and in New York City's future starts with
the arts.
Starts with
the arts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I hear we have IS-93 in the house. We're going to have them join us. They're going to treat us to a little performance at the end, but we still have a couple more speakers. You're good to join us. We have a couple more speakers. Oh, yeah. I also recognize Councilmember Mercedes Narcissus here. Would you like to say anything? You're welcome to join us. Come on up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Love the arts. We're talking about critical thinking independently. Not people can tell you what to say, when to do it, because I live the arts. Yeah. My daughter is an artist. My family, we grew up thinking about the importance of art. You see the world differently. Yeah. You see the world as everybody equal. Yeah. You see the world in a way that no one else can see it, because you thinking, you seeing peace around. Yeah. Whenever you want a good rally to fight for a great cause, you always see artists.
Yes.
Because they can understand, they can process things a way that most people cannot. I appreciate my artists. That's why I keep on fighting in every school building early on to make sure our children exposed to art.
Yes.
It is important. And unfortunately, when I find out when there is a cut, they usually go toward the art. It is not welcome. It is not something that we should be doing it that way. We should do it reverse. Yes. We should say arts first, and let's process it. I'm here to say that I am in full support, because it is important in our school building. It should not be the last thing. It should be a priority. We should baseline it, and then thank God we have a speaker that gets it. That's right. And we're gonna keep on fighting, guys. And my colleagues, we all know the importance of the arts in the school. My daughter, my son, they've all been the artists exposed to things, and I can see the difference in my two and the other two. I have four. The one that went to LaGuardia and Juilliard and all PBS. So I know they're thinking, they're always balancing things out. So I'm living it. I'm a living example, and appreciate having artists in my own home. So all of you young folks, I'm here for you. I wish I can say for it, but I have to go back on the hearing. But I'm so appreciative of you. I'm gonna stay as long as I can stay here to support you and thank you for all the work you do. Thank you.
Arts for all. Excellent. Thank you so much, Councilmember Narcisse. That is exactly why we're here. We want all of these opportunities to be available to all of our city's young people. But what gets measured gets done. We got to understand where there's room for growth. We're now going to hear from our teachers working in our schools. First up, Jackie Cruz, who is with the New York City Art Teachers Association of the UFT. Welcome.
Okay. I am a retired art teacher of 30 years, bilingual art teacher. Okay, and now I am the leader of NYCATA, New York City Art Teachers Association. Yes, it starts with the arts. New York City is considered the arts capital of the world. We have the Met, MoMA, the Whitney, and many more museums, along with Broadway, Juilliard, Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, Dance Theater of Harlem, New York City Ballet, Ballet Hispanico, to name a few. New York City students should be fully exposed to the plethora of arts around them. So why is it that we are here today begging for our students to receive an adequate arts education? It is when students have the opportunity to be immersed in the arts and to learn to create and forge their own masterpieces that they will truly thrive and understand the human needs for the arts. Woo! With every society that our students study from the past, it is through the arts that students learn most.
Yes.
It is how people attain knowledge of culture and history. How can we teach them to take tests to show their understanding? We must ensure that every school has the funds and certified art teachers to give our children the ability to flourish and grow as artists. It is with the arts that kids are nurtured to promote social emotional wellness. Studies have shown that art improves academic outcomes, prepares students to enter the workforce, and increases parental involvement and attendance rates. For some kids, it may be an art class the reason they come to school every day. This city must establish a realistic, equitable foundation for arts instruction in every school to support pathways to a bright, bold future for all. That's why we're asking for your support to guarantee arts education funding in the budget. We at NYCATA UFT serve area artists and art educators and is free and open to all advocates of art education. We are calling on the city to adequately fund arts education for all.
Arts for all! Arts for all! Thank you so much, Jackie. All right, we have two more speakers, and then we have a student performance to close us out. Next up, we're going to hear from Gina Costanza, a New York City public school teacher and past president of the Music Educators Association of New York City.
Hi everyone, my name is Gina Costanza and I teach at PS 123K in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I'm also the immediate past president of MEANICE, the Music Educators Association of New York City. I'm here to tell you the story of a district that has been invested in. In District 32, all of the elementary schools have music in their schools. Our middle schools have music in their schools. And we have music in our high schools. So that means my newcomer student who comes to PS 123 in 3K could stay in District 32 through senior year in high school and have an arts education their entire New York City public schools career. But that is not the case across the district border. That is not the case in every school in New York City. So we are calling upon the city to make sure there is a certified arts teacher in every single school, not just in District 32, but every single school. And we are calling upon the city to provide equitable funding and support to those programs so those students can succeed, so they can be like my kids, my beautiful kids in D32 who have school leaders and a district leader who support us. I am here today because my principal, Mrs. Donna Stalzer, has allowed me to be here to invest in arts education, to advocate for arts education for all. And I hope that every teacher in New York City could tell that same story. So the next time, hopefully there's not a next time, but if we had to come back, we could fill these stairs with New York City public school arts teachers who have principals, school leaders, district representatives who support what they do every day. Wouldn't that be, we'd be full. It would be full. So we are asking for those things. Let's fill up these steps, everyone.
Thank you so much, Gina. All right, it is my pleasure to bring up IS 93. So if our young people, our musicians can join us up front. And first, we're going to hear from one of those students, Julian, to offer a few words.
My name is Julian Cantor, and I attend IS 93 Middle School in Ridgewood. Today I'm here to tell you about why funding music and the arts is so important to me. First, it gives me an opportunity to connect with other people who share similar interests and a love for music as well. And music helps build connections. This year I joined an advanced rock group called Rapid Lines. We learn new songs and we write our own. Rapid Lines wouldn't be here if I didn't have the opportunity to join music. So with that being said, please consider funding music and the arts, as I believe all students should have a chance to show growth and connect.
Thank you so much. My name is Reiki Descola. I'm their lovely music director, and I'm so proud to be here with you today. IS 93 serves over 250 young musicians annually, and we are excited, and we ask that despite whatever zip code you come from, everyone should have access to music and the arts, regardless of where you're from, because arts matter. It starts with the arts, and here is a little bit of our joyful noise for you. Okay, Kaden, here you go. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
On transparency and access and equity to arts education. We want all students to have opportunities like this. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll take any questions from press after. I wonder if we could do a brief group picture. Would be great. We'll have to do a selfie too. All right.
Act like you like each other, babe.